Hey y'all, it's Sierra and I'm back. I'm doing another video for you all. Hope y'all are well. I wanted to come on here because I know I've been talking about shadow work and journaling, using journaling to help with your shadow work. So I just wanted to use myself as an example to show you all how this can be helpful. So I'm going to let y'all know about some of the shadow work that I need to be doing on myself. So I'm bringing you all in and letting you all, know some of my business. Y'all get to get up in my business today. So that way I can show you how I use it to help me get to the bottom of certain things. So again, I told y'all yesterday my allergies are horrible, so hopefully I'm not sniffling, sneezing. You might see me wiping my eyes periodically throughout the video because my eyes keep watering. So I'm gonna try to get through this as best as I can. So just bear with me. But I decided to do a shadow work reading on myself to see what shadow work I need to do, what inner child healing I need to do in order to continue on my journey of ascension and evolving. So, uh, one of the cards I got was the Hierophant. I don't know if y'all can see this, but the Hierophant represents like somebody who's like a teacher or a pastor. It can represent traditions, conformity, certain social organizations like church, school, somebody who's a leader, but somebody that's very traditional. And it can also represent the zodiac sign Taurus, which is interesting because I also got the Taurus card. That's one of the zodiac cards that I pulled. So the reason why these two cards came out is because I have some work to do, some inner child healing to do when it comes to paternal relationships or relationships with my father and stepfather, as well as I was in a karmic relationship with a Taurus. I'm no longer in that relationship, but it seems like I still have some things that I might need to release and heal when it comes to that relationship. So it made sense for me for those cards to come out, even though I thought I was done with the whole healing stuff when it came to the Taurus. It's actually seems like my worst relationships have been with Taurus people. So I'm not saying Taurus men are bad, um, but there's something there. There's a reason why I keep attracting them, and it's not working out for me. So, well, I do know one reason why is because, for the most part, they tend to be pretty stable when it comes to um, finances or their job or they pretty much like to have their stuff together for the most part. I did have one that does not. So I might get into that. I might not. We'll see where this goes. I did have more cards that came out, but these are the two um, that kind of make the most sense for me to talk about right now. I don't want to bore y'all with showing y'all every single card that came out. So I also drew a card for journaling to see what journal topic I needed to write about in order to help me to release whatever it is I'm still holding on to, because I wasn't even sure, or I didn't even know I was still holding on. I know I've had issues with paternal figures in my life, and I've accepted the issues and I've accepted them for who they are. I've accepted our relationships for where they are, but accepting is not the same as forgiving, and is not the same as being healed from something. So, obviously I still have some work to do. So the journal prompt card that I pulled out is this one. You probably cannot see it, so I'll read it. It says, what are some generational patterns that you do not want to continue? Okay. So when I saw that, I knew that the generational pattern that I don't want to continue, that has continued throughout my bloodline, is absent fathers, broken homes, having children with men who are not going to be there. This is not an attack on men. And I know some really good men who are very active in their children's lives, even more so than the moms, some of them. So this is personal to me. This is an issue that I've had in my family and my bloodline. So, just so y'all can see that I'm not just talking, I did journal about this. Y'all may not be able to see it. But I decided to sit down and journal about it. Now, just to give y'all a little bit of background, my biological father, I'll have to say biological father and stepfather throughout the video. I have one biological father, duh, we all have one, right? And I have two stepfathers. So hopefully this doesn't get confusing. But my biological father was not involved in my life. So from the time that I was about 6 or so, I had a stepdad. He was married to my mom until I was about like 17, 18. So I did grow up for the most part with a father figure in the household because he came into my life when I was so young. So, and he treated me and my sisters like we were his own. I actually think I was one of the favorites. So, you know, I didn't have any issues there. I had a pretty good childhood, actually. Even though my biological father was not around, my stepfather, like I said, he treated me like I was his own. We were very spoiled. We had all the material things you could ever want. I think we had more material things than some grown-ups at that time. So we did not want for anything when it came to money, material things, clothes, toys, you know, we had it made pretty much as children. I had a good childhood. I cannot sit here and act like I had a horrible childhood. I had a very good childhood. That does not mean that it did not hurt for my biological father not to be around. So even though I had someone step up to the plate to do the things that he should have been doing, it still hurt. Another thing that was very helpful was my stepdad was very affectionate with us. My mom is not a very affectionate person. She was not one to like hug us and kiss us and tell us that she loved us. Like, she's very protective. Like, you can't say anything or do anything wrong to us. And, you know, she's basically, if somebody messes with her kids, she is there to protect us, period, point blank. So she definitely does that for us. She taught us how to, you know, act like ladies and, you know, morals, values, all that stuff. But as far as the affection, that wasn't there. So my dad was the affectionate one. He was the one that took us to the movies all the time. He's the one that's going to hold your hand while you're walking down the sidewalk. So I had it pretty good. Up to a certain point. I would say up until I was about 16, and we'll get into that. So as far as my biological father, for those of you that don't know, I do live in Texas, but I grew up in a small town in Iowa. So I would say like one side of town was probably like 10 minutes away from the other side of town. It's a very small town. My father lived in the same town that I lived in. So we would run into each other, you know, at the mall sometimes. I remember he would see me at the mall and he would give me $100, you know, every time he saw me at the mall. But he was also a basketball coach. Like, he volunteered to coach at one of the middle schools that was on the opposite side of town of where I lived. So I joined the basketball team, and I'm not even good at basketball, but I joined the basketball team because my friend asked me to join. And when we would play his school, that would be one of the times I got to see him because he was coaching that team. So I either had to see him by accident, like we ran into each other at the mall or something like that, or when basketball season was in and he was coaching the other school. So that was pretty much the extent of my relationship with my biological father. I do remember I went to his house a few times for like a couple Thanksgivings or a couple Christmases. But that was pretty much it. He would send presents ever so often, like for my birthday. He would have people like bring me the presents, stuff like that. But he just was not interested in a relationship with me. I'm still not sure why. And that's probably why this is coming up in the shadow work that I need to do. I don't really have any explanation as far as why he was not around. Why he was okay with somebody else just, picking up the slack and, being a father for me. He did have other kids who he did take care of and who he was involved with. So I'm not sure. I know that he did live with those kids, my brothers and sister. So I don't know if it was just, because I didn't live with him, or maybe, I don't know if he didn't believe that I was his child. Like, I have no idea. But he's my friend on Facebook. He comments on my stuff sometimes. So I haven't asked him because I don't feel like he's going to give me the answer. I don't think he'll answer me, so I don't want to even ask that question. I just try to just act like none of that ever happened. And if he comments on my stuff, I just comment back and we just keep it moving. So that's awkward. That was pretty frustrating, hurtful, and sad growing up, knowing that this person knows you exist. For what I know, you claim me. You are saying that I am your child. As far as I know, you didn't have doubts or anything that I was your child. You just, for whatever reason, did not feel the need to be in my life. Maybe that's a part of my soul contract. Maybe we signed up for this, before we got here. I'm starting to learn more about soul contracts and how we pretty much agree to go through certain things in life before we are reincarnated so that we can elevate and ascend. So maybe that's in our soul contract. Maybe I need to look further into that. Let me see if I'm forgetting something. So anyways, moral of the story, my biological father wasn't there. My mom's biological father wasn't there. My son's biological father is not here. He does not help me with my son at all. So I have repeated a cycle. And my mom wasn't too happy with me for repeating the cycle. We had some issues, because I got pregnant by somebody who was not, willing to be there. And his dad, my son's dad, is kind of the same way. Like, if I were to say, I need you to come get my son, you can have him, he can live with you, he would literally come take him and let him live with him and take care of him and be just fine with that. So I don't know why there's this thing where if the child lives with you, you're willing to be there and, help to take care of them. But if they don't live with you, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind. So that's another pattern that I've, followed. So obviously I need to do some work with that. So I've been writing down how that made me feel. Now let's get on my stepfather. So like I said, my stepfather was a great, amazing, wonderful stepfather. He was there from the time when I was 6 to the time I was 16. Now growing up, I didn't really see my parents working for other people. My stepdad was an entrepreneur, so he did not have to work for somebody else. My mom didn't have to work. She worked sometimes when she felt like it, but she didn't have to. And because he was an entrepreneur, he made his own hours, and you just kind of would get used to the fact that he's not going to be home all the time, because that's how it is when you're an entrepreneur. You have to put in the work. So sometimes work is first and family is second. I just grew up knowing that's just how it's going to be. And he was a ladies man too. So that's the kind of hard part about dealing with somebody that's an entrepreneur, because they do have long work hours. So it's kind of, justifiable, I guess, for them to be out late or for them to be gone for days, because, they're working. But sometimes when they're supposed to be working, they're out working the streets. I mean, like working the ladies, they're out doing things that they shouldn't be doing. Especially because my stepdad was so charismatic, and he just drew people to him. He just had that charismatic type of personality where women just liked him. Like, I would be out with him and women would just flirt with him all the time. And I remember he would like go with me to get my nails done and stuff, and like women would just be all over him. And he's a flirt. He likes attention. He would flirt back too. So but I kind of grew up with, okay, everything is taken care of, Yeah, I might be gone. Yeah, I might not be, treating you. And when I'm saying this is him talking to my mom. So I might be out all night. I might be gone for days. I might be cheating on you with this one and that one, but you're taken care of, though. The kids are taken care of, though. Like, you don't have to worry about finances. Basically I'm just a boss. Like, this is how it is when you're dealing with a boss. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. So I kind of grew up seeing that, okay, if there's a man that's willing to provide financial stability for you and help you with your kids, then they might just be out and about doing what they want to do, and you just kind of have to deal with it. Like, that's just how it is when you're dealing with somebody of that nature. But it got to a point where it just wasn't healthy, and my mom finally decided to leave. So they did end up getting a divorce, and she left when I was about 16. And she actually moved us to Texas. So we left Iowa, moved to Texas when I was about 16 years old. And after that, he kind of just stopped, being there for us. It would be like we're calling and calling, and the phone is just going to voicemail constantly. He's not calling back. When he would talk to us, he would, tell us he's gonna like, help us out, send us money, do this and do that, and he would never follow through with it. So it was kind of like, well, if your mom is divorcing me, then I'm divorcing all of y'all. I'm divorcing her and y'all. So, that was very tough and hard to deal with. I think I'm still dealing with that, and I think it's more frustrating with him doing that than it was with my biological father, because my biological father was never there. And my stepdad would tell me, I'm never gonna do what he did. Even though he's not around, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be here, so you don't have to worry about what your biological father isn't doing, because I'm here to take over. I did not think I would get emotional. Oh my goodness. So, he was supposed to be the one to take over And I just did not expect this same behavior from him, you know, that my biological father basically just being absent and not being there. And I remember, you know, my stepdad would tell me, do you want to know why I give y'all the world? Do you want to know why I make sure y'all have every material thing you could possibly want? Because I don't want a man to be able to impress you with his money. I don't want a man to be able to impress you with what he has, because it's not new to you. You've been growing up with the best of the best. You know, you grew up that way. So a man can't come to you and try to offer you, you know, material things or money. He's got to come with, you know, all the other morals, values. What else can you offer me? You know, what kind of man are you? So it's funny that he would tell me that, and then when my mom decided she wanted to leave because she wasn't being valued the way that she should be valued, and that he thought that his money would basically you know, keep her there even though he was not being faithful. When she did that and he kind of just, you know, stopped helping us financially, you know, we went from a 2-parent household to a 1-parent household where he was the breadwinner. It was just kind of like hurtful. Like, you don't even care how we are doing. You don't know how it is for us in this new state. You don't know if we have everything that we need, because you won't even answer the phone, you know, to talk to us. So I ended up falling into the trap that he didn't want me to fall into, which was looking for a man that was stable financially, that had his life together when it came to finances, you know, a job. I tend to attract men who are entrepreneurs, or, you know, they're the power players in the companies that they work with or work at. And I also noticed that, you know, as I was journaling, I noticed that a part of my issue when it comes to dating was that I was looking for a man that was a good father. I dated men that were good fathers. I dated men that were good people. Being a good father and being a good person is not necessarily the same as being a good partner. So I wasn't looking for somebody that was going to be a good partner to me and value me. I was looking for a father for my son, if we're just going to keep it real. I was looking for a good father, and I found him. You know, I'm not even going to date you if you're not a good father. Like I said, most of the men that I know, a lot of them are doing more than the women are doing when it comes to the kids. So I found myself getting trapped in situations with men who were not right for me. They were not compatible with me, but they were good fathers, and they knew it. So a lot of the time they would use my son to get back in good with me when the relationship would get to a point where I was just ready to be done. They would use my son, you know, next thing you know, they're showing up with gifts for my son, you know. They're calling me, what does Jaden need? Is there anything, how's little man doing, you know? They so interested in him, you know, because they could sense that that's what I was looking for. So throughout this whole process, I know I'm talking a lot, I'm probably going in circles and all that, but throughout this whole process, what I've realized when it comes to the generational curse of not having 2-parent homes, or having broken homes and having absent fathers, is that that's why I was attracting the wrong type of man, because I was trying to break that generational curse. And I do want to break that generational curse, but I cannot let the desire to break that generational curse and have a 2-parent home allow me to keep getting in situations with men who are not right for me, or who are mentally abusive, manipulative. Like I said, I was in a karmic relationship with a Taurus, and a karmic relationship is a relationship with someone that you knew in a past life. You were in a relationship with them in a past life, and there is some lesson there that you all did not learn in your past life, so you keep reincarnating and meeting up with the same person in different lifetimes, because you all have lessons that you need to learn, and until you learn those lessons, you're going to keep repeating them over and over and over again in each lifetime. So I figured out, one of these relationships was a karmic relationship, and I need to break that cycle. I have broken the cycle because I'm not dealing with that person anymore. We'll get into karmic relationships in another video, because I can't even go over all of that stuff in this video. But oh my goodness, very, very tough situation. But also the passion that you all have, the chemistry between you all is so intense. So it's very hard to get out of the situation for both people, for you and the other person. So I'll get into that in another video. Let me see. Oh, another thing that I forgot to mention. Now, because all of this has gone down, and I had the situation with my stepdad, who pretty much gave me the world and then took it away once my parents got divorced. I'm kind of afraid to accept help from people. So even though I was dealing with men who had a lot of money, and they would offer money to me, I would never take it. The only time that I would take things from them is if they bought something for my son. And I remember, one of them being like, how come you don't ever ask me for anything? I keep asking you, do you need anything? And you're saying no. I am so afraid to take money from a man. I am so afraid to let a man take care of me financially, because I don't want them to take it away. If you give me something, you can take it away. So I'd rather just be independent. If I have to struggle, I'm going to struggle on my own before I take money from somebody else. And I need to get out of that. There's people who have wanted to bless me and help me, and I've turned it down because, I'm not that type of person to accept help from anybody. And luckily for me, I've been able to be independent and not really need help from anyone outside of my mom and my stepdad, because she ended up getting married again. So stepdad number 2. But, that's one thing I need to work on, is being able to accept help from other people. Not even just relationships, friends, co-workers. So I just wanted to point out that, as you start to journal, as you start to write, you will start realizing so many things. This started off as a card about what generational curses do you not want to continue, and I ended up getting into, wow, I'm still dealing with, pain, hurt from relationships with my father, stepfather, or lack thereof, and that has trickled down into my romantic relationships as an adult. And it's also caused me not to want to accept help or assistance from anybody, whether it's romantic or not. So I definitely have some work that I need to do what I'm probably going to do is just write letters. That's my thing. You know, I like to write. Actually, the icon for the group, you know, the picture of the fire, that is an actual fire that I started because I lit a letter on fire. So what I like to do is write letters about the emotions, the situations, any trauma that I've gone through, or to anybody that has hurt me. And then I like to burn them. So I'm writing them, feeling all of the emotion as I'm writing, and I'm writing with the intention of releasing any anger, frustration, sadness, shame, whatever negative emotions might be connected to whatever I'm writing about. And then I burn it with the intention that, you know, as this is burning, you know, all those emotions are being released. And I'm not, you know, having to deal with them anymore. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna write a letter to my biological father and to my stepfather, to myself, forgiving myself for repeating the pattern, because, you know, we can be hard on ourselves too when we do end up repeating a pattern, a generational pattern, because, you know, we just feel like I should have known better. So I'm going to write a letter to myself too, and then I'm going to burn the letters. I don't think speaking to, I think I'll probably be able to speak to my stepdad and express myself to him. And, you know, he has expressed remorse over the years for the way that things went down. So I'll probably be able to speak to him, but I don't think that I can talk to my biological father about this stuff. Because I don't really know him, I don't know how he handles situations like this. I don't know if he will be willing to talk to me about it or not. So I'm just going to write a letter to him, and then I'm going to burn it with the intentions of releasing, you know, the emotions, the negative emotions connected to it, and forgiving him so that I can move on. You know, I don't want to keep repeating the same cycles over and over again. So I just wanted to share that with you all. I'm gonna post a picture of the journal prompt card, so that way y'all can write about that if you wanted to. But I wanted to just kind of let y'all in, show y'all the process that I use when I'm doing my shadow work. So hopefully this is helpful and it wasn't just me rambling on and on and on. But again, thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for being a part of my group. And my inbox is open, so if you all have any questions that you don't want to write in the comment section, or something you want to talk about but you don't want it to be seen by everybody in the group, you can always just send me a message. All right, so y'all have a good day. Bye.